I'm back in Lisbon at the minute, so it is such nice weather. Um, like it's just I forget how nice like the weather is like all year round. Basically, like you just have very nice. Like it's not too hot, not too cold, and I don't know. It's really nice like to go outside and be able to just like you go for a walk and it's like pretty much anytime you go for it, it's really pleasant. Like in Singapore, it's really too hot, so you can't really do that. That's something I really enjoy about Southern Europe. Anyway, it's been nice to be back here. Also, London in the summer is also like that, but recently it's been just a little bit too warm, and so I don't know. Like for all year climate, I think Southern Europe has probably among the best. I can't think of a place that beats it. But anyway, this is a bit of a retroactive update because I actually forgot to record something yesterday. It was like incomplete, so I just figured to record from scratch. But I basically spent the day not doing all that much. It was really annoying. But one of the things I did spend some time on was reorganizing my phone. And by that, I mean like shaping my environment, my phone. I think it's one of the most important things. Like I think everything about habits and cultivating like productivity, whatever, it's not about discipline. It's just about how do you shape your environment to make that stuff easier to follow. So for me, that looks like setting. So for example, I set an automation so that my phone turns onto grayscale from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. So noon, like right before I have lunch, because that is usually the focus time that I try and cut out for myself. So until 12, I will try and create focus hours. Now, I have had periods where I focus well at night, but generally, if I have to go out, if I have to take calls, things like that, a lot of those happen later in the evening. And so, my most productive hours are usually either in the morning or in the evening. And I've tried to cut them out more in the morning because rarely do I have plans with people that are actually in the morning. And so, this means that if I have social events, if there's some event organized, I have to go to it, I'm not losing some, that focus time that's as crucial. Also, just I turned off even more notifications. So notifications, literally, like if it's a group chat, generally I mute them unless they're important. Otherwise, the only notifications are like Slack, mail, messages, WhatsApp, Telegram. So like, personal messaging apps. But other than that, very, very minimal notifications. Other than that, I still get a lot of like bank notifications. So like movements in my money, but I turn off like promotions and stuff like that. I turned off promotions on Uber and on Bolt, but so I still get the notifications like when my driver's here. But other than that, everything else is off. And I think like slowly it adds up to just make a more clean environment. I also like my home screen has very few things. Basically, it has some main apps that I use, which are like Slack, Spotify, Notes. I have the Notion widget, which has just the favorites page, like the 3 favorite pages, so I can open straight into that page. Like it reduces the number of clicks to reach a page that I'm going to use. And I really only use those 3 pages on my phone. I don't use the rest. That means I can reply to emails faster. I can like streamline information. And I also actually, I used to have deleted the Instagram application. Like I didn't have any social media apps. I certainly don't have TikTok. I haven't had that in a while. But I used to only use Instagram on the browser. But what I realized there's this app called like ScreenSend, something like that. And I downloaded it, and it's one of the ones where you can it can force you to pause before you open. It's pretty well known actually. And this is obviously on iOS. And if people are curious, comment and I'll drop the name in the description or something. But I've been using that to block a bunch of apps, which means that I can actually download Instagram again and use the actual app, which is a much better experience and also has some features that are only on the app. And that has been very good. And the other reason this is useful is because now, like instead of setting like a screen time limit, I've set a schedule, which reduces me impulsively checking because I can't, if you set a screen time limit, let's say half an hour, you could check it every 2 hours compulsively. You can just pick up your phone and check whenever you want, up to 2 hours a day. Whereas setting a schedule means you cannot until, in my case, it's only available like 8 to 10 p.m. And this gives like 90% of the utility that I need, which is like, I need to access Instagram sometimes, reply to messages, which is really the main reason. And if I want to post things, like sometimes I want to post a story or something, which is not really possible via the browser, but the app obviously is way easier. So yeah, been setting a lot of that, setting a lot of like, so now my phone from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. like is in grayscale, and a bunch of like pretty much all social apps are blocked. Unless I have an explicit reason. So I can unlock them, but I ask myself to record a reason for them. That's one of the options that you have in this app, which is really nice. And yeah, that's like, my phone's a lot cleaner. And that's one of the things which I was doing last night, because I was not able to focus. I wasn't able to get a lot done. Like, I moved a little bit of just programming work forward, a little bit like of just replies and communication. Also, yesterday was Tuesday, so it was like a calls day. So my afternoon was something like 6-7 calls back to back. They were good, but like the real focus work, the maker time, didn't get pushed forward, which is annoying. But yeah, other than that, I think like I'm thinking a lot about my environment at the minute. I also have to go get some food. Like I have to go shopping to cook and meal prep, basically for the month. Yeah, and I have to think about setting something up so that's easier, or at least like having a list of kind of preset recipes that I can do. But I have like all of this I document in like a Notion space, and I just keep like, I document basically how I shape different environments and any notes about those. This even goes for stuff like gifts. So one of the things I do is I want to write more cards and give more gifts to people. Or I should say, handwritten cards are like an easy gift to give. And so one of the things I've done is I keep a little like Belroy bag, which is like this bag over here. Highly recommend it if you're like an organized person, but I love this thing. Like, I don't go anywhere without it. And I basically, in that, like I have a bunch of postcards, and I always keep some spare, and I have a pen, and so at any point in time I can always do that. Like, I have a gift for somebody on the fly. I also keep like interesting things that I could give as gifts. I sometimes just buy them and keep them, and sometimes an occasion comes about where it's a nice gift to give to somebody. Obviously, like, sometimes you want to give a more personal thing, and so you go out of your way to buy something for somebody. But yeah, like, I thought about that, and so I made my environment easier to give more gifts. I just made it more obvious. So there's all these little things that I think about all the time. Like, when I think about a habit that I want to change, I don't really think about like an implementation plan. I just think, how can I make this so easy that the stupidest person in the world could have that habit? Like, yeah, I treat myself essentially as a monkey. Like, I treat my brain as a little bit of a monkey brain, and I don't rely on my own discipline, because it's generally like I will only rely on my own discipline for a very limited and select amount of things. And so, for example, like these videos, like, I've committed to these on a daily basis, but there's nothing else that I will commit to, because I do not want to overload that very simple monkey brain of mine. And I just kind of like think about it like that when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about like I get excited about simplification and just removing things that I don't need. And this has been a consistent theme over the last like 6 months that I think has like helped me a lot in just like decluttering things. It means like I have a lot more focus. And I think your phone is like one of the easiest ways to start. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. And I'm thinking a lot about focus, because this yesterday wasn't very focused, but I think today's been going a lot better. So I'm just going to be doing that and working through stuff.